And so basically, that's what I wanted to say. That the conclusion that you're gonna have how a city functions. I know how a city functions. It's not no mystery to me. You know, sooner or later, there's gonna be communication in a city. You know, that's why I like. I say to myself, in this type of reality, you have to focus on the people that are around you, the people that surround you who need on, not anybody else. Much you can talk to an entire city, get to know an entire city. You know, people are gonna look alike, and you're gonna have a list. You're gonna have a list, like a list of 20 people that look alike, 10 people that look alike, 9 people that look alike, because you talk to so many people. You know, and how can you talk to so many people and keep a relationship with like freaking 2, 3 thousand people? How can you keep a relationship with 2, 3 thousand people? You can't. You can't keep a relationship with 2, 3 thousand people. So what's the number? What's a number that you can keep a relationship with, that you have, that are gonna be part of your life? They're gonna be part of your life. So that's why right now I have come to understand that, that in life you have to focus on the people that are surrounding you and nobody else, because everybody else is they're there one day and they're gone and you'll never see them again. You know, I remember when I was in Harlingen, I often would say, "Hey, different. You look happy," and they'll it's and the exact same thing. This is when I start off in, it's gonna be and not me. They're gonna hunt me. They're gonna be they'll not it. The like said, 7 when spirits aren't able aren't able, you know, and they'll go get another 7 life. You know what I'm saying? But like I'm saying, sooner or later, they're going to admit how a city functions. They're going to admit that they grow old, that they're demons. You know, you're to say, or what is gonna happen? I'm gonna be enslaved by society. I'm gonna be enslaved by society so they can laugh at me. I remember when I was in the Deportiva. I remember when I was in the Deportiva and I would get there and the day would pass by extremely fast, and all the pale individuals, the kids from school, a whole bunch of pale people that I've never seen. Like, back in the day in the United States, when I was in the United States, if I saw one pale person, the pale person would stand out. It's like dead. I'm saying that in the States when I was up, a person, somebody just and the Deportiva, pale kids, all these pale kids, they'll come out. And they were there as soon as I would get there. They would go skipping, and I guess nobody would say anything. That's what they would say. You know, and all these pale kids were there talking shit to me. They're talking shit to me, throwing me indirects. You know, and so like I said, my experience, they try to distract me. They try to distract me, grab a hold of my attention, and take me on a fucking on a how would you say it, on a roller coaster ride. That's what they try to do every single day. But if I were just to focus on one day of my life, any day of my life, if I were to situation through all that noise, it dissipates. It all that negative energy. You could be barking. All that negative energy that they try to create, try to create a reaction out of me. That's what they've done my entire life. They look for credibility to beat you up for a green light. A certain administration looks for that green light. Looks for that green light. You know what I'm saying? So that the underworld government allows them and gives them a green light. And that's what they've been doing my entire life. But what I wanted to give emphasis on the conclusion to life are two things. That one, they're first, they'll admit how a city functions. They'll admit it. First, they'll admit that. Second, they'll admit that there's demons. When this time comes, I imagine that in the churches, there's going to be like pastors talking about demons, and there's going to be pastors talking about this and that and this and that and this touching topic that have already understand. I understand it. And so in the future, I think there's going to be a sequence. There's going to be these new people, these new characters, these, how would you say it? We're like you. I'm like you. I understand what you're saying. I'm immortal. How old are you? Why do you look still young? Gotta go to Canada. We are young. Forever young. That's bullshit. Over there, they do the exact same thing. If I were to stay here in Mexico, I tell myself sooner or later, all these people that disappeared when I was young, when I was growing up, these people, when I was 8, 9 years old, these people that I got to know in my life, they disappeared. And I never saw them again. Where did they go to? I don't know. But they disappeared. If I stay in one place, I could almost guarantee that these people, sooner or later, will come out of hiding. And so that's my emphasis on that the city will admit how it functions, that there'll be communication and order, instead of, having cops everywhere roam around, put 2 cops in one neighborhood in a certain area. And then people start saying, this is not a prison, and and cameras everywhere. It's 2025. And they don't put cameras everywhere because people say, we don't want cameras everywhere. It's because you want opportunity. You want that blind spot to create. Because if there was cameras everywhere, nothing could happen. Zero violence. Zero violence. Oh, but that could only happen in China. You have to go with the Chinese to live that type of lifestyle. When they could do it here. Zero crime tolerance because of cameras. It's 2025. Let's see what's going to happen. 2 things I expect them to admit in the future. City structure and how a city functions. That's number 1. And number 2, that they're demons. That demons obtain life, human bodies. And there's going to be a separation. and then maybe the robots, but or the robots along the way at the same time. I don't know, but this is what's happening. This is what I feel is gonna happen, and let's see what happens. Peace out.